I didn't think that one through. So yeah, going to continue just a second here. So, okay. Whew, talk about pain. Spoony still needed to gulp down 11 elixirs to win. I'm glad that fight was over. Disclaimer, because it took a full 10 minutes of running the emulator on fast forward to speed to run Biblos dry of magic points, I created a save state at a point and skipped the tedium of future attempts. Essentially, this allowed me to skip the long minutes of waiting before each Biblos attempt. I randomized the seed running the game on fast forward for another 10 to 15 seconds after restoring the save state, thus making a successive attempt a genuinely new battle. This was my one exception to the rule of never saving anywhere outside of in-game spots, and I hope you can see why. I was anxious to avoid around 4 minutes, or to waiting around 4 minutes on end to start every try against Biblos. And to say it like this, Losas, I would say that for every person, each situation is always different. So having ideas and input from multiple sides, usually I feel like that is the best thing you can have, in the sense that you can maybe piece together advice portions from here, maybe from over here a little bit, and just kind of adjust it to your individual situation. Since no individual situation is going to be the same as another, but a lot of the pieces will fit for you as well, but those pieces may have to come from different input and sources. So yeah, I hope that's going to work out well. Anyway, now Spoony had a ship to sail around in. He had finally reached the point in the game where he gained access to the Bard class normally, which meant acquiring Bard-specific items for the first time. Chakol had the Bard robe and the plumed hat. Yes, very masculine equipage for the Bard. Crescent had Silver Harp, and Istri provided Spoony's first song, Magic. The Love Song. Talking to an NPC Bard in Istri taught Spoony the Love Song. This is classified as a spell with 0 MP cost that inflicts stop status to all enemies, if successful. Although many bosses are immune to stop, most random enemies are not. I found that the Love Song had a high chance of working. The spell didn't last forever though. Usually Spoony could attack twice before having to renew it with another casting. Still, what's not to like about beating an opponent while they stand frozen in fear? Laugh. Spoony then learned his second song from the NPC Bard in Crescent, the Vitality Song. This spell simply casts regen on all party members. Again, not the strongest effect in the world, but handy in a few places. I got good use out of it in the Sandworm battle. Since regen heals back health over time, it operates best in long and drawn-out battles that certainly characterize the Sandworm fight, as Spoony slowly killed the Sandworm by doing about 150 damage per attack. Regen kicked in at least a dozen times, healing back hundreds of health over the course of the fight. Thanks to the Vitality Song, Spoony only had to use 1 elixir here, instead of 2 or 3. At least this boss was easy, so long as Spoon took his time and made sure to avoid hitting 2 empty holes. Fairest day off, you could say that. Before going into the desert, I had taken Spoony for a ride on the Black Chocobo to the village of Lix, where yet another NPC bard taught him the Charm Song. A lot of bards in this world it seems. The Charm Song did exactly what the name suggested, casting the spell Charm on all enemies with high probability of succeeding. This song proved extremely useful against the following Crayclaw boss, who was vulnerable to both Stop and Charm. The Love Song seemed to fail too frequently for it to be useful, but the Charm Song worked 90% of the time. Spoonie did the whole battle charming Crayclaw, who would then attack himself. After many repetitions of this, the steel lobster finally did himself in. No elixirs used at all. Woot! That brought Spoonie to another roadblock boss fight, the adamantium turtle. Hey, Mr. Stinger, I'm sorry. I kind of figured I destroyed another category by accident. Yeah, Figure of Mana might look a bit different in the future. Adamantium is a boss that uses nothing but nothing but physical attacks, and thus hiding was entirely useless. Spoonie would have to fight this battle with his dagger alone. The boss has an AI script where it attacks once normally, then on the second round it attacks twice consecutively. Rinse and repeat. 3 attacks every 2 rounds essentially. All that physical damage adds up in a hurry, with the Elf Cape and Guardian blocking 50% of all direct attacks. Now, Adamantium's high damage output forced Spoonie into the back row, in order to slow down the punishment he was taking. Oh. Add in the fact that Adamantium starts the battle in armor status, which cuts physical damage in half, and he was getting a paltry damage modifier of only 8 divided by 2, which was then further divided by 2, which equals in 2. But wait, it's even worse than that. Adamantium has a very high defense for this stage of the game at 25. So the Guardian Dagger was only doing 36 minus 25, which equals 11 damage per hit. Multiply that by 2 and you get 22 damage per attack, as seen in the picture above. Adamantium has 2000 hit points. Was Spoonie really going to have to plink away 2000 hit points over the course of 90 plus attacks? Yes he was. Great. Just great. What Spoonie needed to win this fight was elixirs. Lots and lots of elixirs. In the course of grinding out more elixirs, he also gained another 4 or 5 levels up to level 39 in the process. A non-variant game would be entering the void and facing near X-Death by now. Eventually, Spoonie ended up with a baker's dozen of elixirs, and after several failed tries, including a loss of at 1980 damage inflicted, Spoonie eventually did manage to kill the damn turtle. I had to use all of his elixirs though, all 13 of them. I didn't even care though, I just wanted to get the battle over with. What a pain in the behind. In contrast, Soul Cannon was extraordinarily easy for once. The key thing here is that the main cannon's Surge Beam is the only thing that can kill you. The launchers simply do percentage-based damage. I let them cut Spoonie down to about 88 health you see without worrying about it. And because the cannon lets you know when Surge Beam is coming, I could have Spoonie hide and avoid taking any damage. Now, this was not a particularly speedy process. Spoonie started by killing the 2 launchers, then settled into a long, slow pattern with the main cannon. Attack 1 time, hide from the Surge Beam, return and then attack 1 time again, then hide once more, etc. I read online that the Surge Beam soon becomes much too fast to hide from, but this simply is not true. What Spoonie did have to do was sit out a whole cycle periodically, that is, wait to return until just after the Surge Beam fired, rather than return immediately when the command became available. Anyway, this worked perfectly, although the battle took about 40 minutes to play, with Spoonie doing about 250 damage per attack and spending most of his time in hiding. I did not have to use a single healing item whatsoever though. Is this a pre-recorded run? No. Also greetings Sandman, how are you doing? You're looking forward to creating a million categories. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What do you think about Crow's idea or the old boss's idea? I knew full well, of course, that Archaeavis was going to require some more elixirs, back to grinding out some more of them against Zeus. Upon reaching level 43, with 10 elixirs now in stash, Spoony was ready to face it the Lanka ruins. I had him run from most of the random foes in sight. Difficult battles, little payout in gold and experience. Spoony reached the bottom very quickly, equipped his Guardian Dagger and Elf Kate for maximum physical blocking, and settled in for another lengthy fight. The weird thing about Archaeavis is that while each incremental form learns more and more dangerous attacks, each form also has less and less defense as well. This picture taken against the first wind form shows how paltry Spoony's initial damage output proved to be. His damage kept increasing with every form. However, until Spoony was at about 280 damage per attack against the final undead one. I remember dreading this fight when Black had to do it without magic. Against the final form, I should add. And I thought it was like the hardest thing ever. Now, with Spoony, it was practically routine. Use elixirs when appropriate, rely on the physical evade conveyed by the Guardian and the Elf Cape, and keep plugging away until the job was finished. Spoony was victorious on the first try, using several elixirs in the process. The only thing remaining in the first world was the meteor trio of mini-bosses. As usual, I began with the Chimera Brain. Spoony equipped the Flame Ring and hit until the monsters ran out of magic points, which invalidated its blaze and aqua rake attacks. In with Spoony's paltry damage, he was able to kill the boss without having to use any healing items. I tried having Spoony hide from Titan as well, thinking I could get him to use up his magic points on Earthshaker, only to find that Earthshaker is classified as an ability and not a spell. Fortunately, Titan doesn't do this attack too much, and Spoony was able to win without having to dip into his elixir stash. Region status from Vitality Song helped out a lot. As for the Pureboros, I had hoped that I could simply hide off screen and watch them use Exploder, suiciding to no purpose. Unfortunately, that didn't work. Exploder seems to need a valid target for the monsters to use. That meant I had a potentially very difficult situation on my hands. Until I looked in the code and saw the Pureboros were vulnerable to stop. Yep, freeze them in place, lull them to sleep with the sweet strains of the laugh song, don't let them do anything. Spoony had to spend 1 round of sing for every 2 rounds of attacking, but this worked out perfectly. The Pureboros would not revive their fallen comrades with life 2 if they were killed with while in stop status. The one weakness of this song is that you can't tell which monsters have actually been successfully stopped until they attack you, and by then it's often too late. I'd hate have one of the Pureboros use Exploder when it failed to be hit by the laugh song, doing exactly 1500 damage. But Spoony had just enough life to survive. Hooray for excessively high levels! Spoony didn't have to use any healing items here either, getting through with a minimal fuss. To give you an idea, the Pureboros is basically a group of 6 enemies. Whenever you kill one of them, he will cast a death spell, so to speak, where he will use life 2 and revive all his fallen comrades back to full health. That is, unless you mute or, well, stop them in the process. Then further, they have all 1500 health each. And based on their remaining health, if they use Exploder, they will deal that amount of damage to the character that is there. So, on default, 1500 health at this point in the game means instant death. For the solo character, he may have just enough health to survive as he did here, if he takes a full damage Exploder, but more than one would certainly spell doom for poor Spoony the Bard, to give you an idea of those guys. Yep, okay, there we go. And that was the first portion in World 1, with Spoony the Bard. I will potentially be reading the rest of this. If you are interested in this particular story, I have this already on YouTube where I read through this, if you'd like to see that. The grind is real indeed. So we have at this point 19 elixirs. I reached level 26 with the white mage and we still have quite a ways to go. Also, I just realized the ability MP plus 10% could be useful for us here too. So there's that. I think that is it from me for today. Leaving, well, our white mage solo class challenge to its own devices. This is something I like to do once in a while when I just feel like relaxing, leaning back, not doing anything serious like doing any particular speedruns. And good morning, Chitin. How's it going? I don't think I would want to read 50 Shades of Grey, Square Bear. And hi, Drysaliter, sorry about that. So yeah, there's that. Overall, I would say thank you very much for watching. I'm going to see whether I could suggest for you guys to watch someone else for now. So let's see, who could I suggest for you guys to watch? Also... Wait, I don't actually need to... Where's it? There we go. You can actually see your own chat there, yay. Let's see, who could I suggest for you guys to watch for now? Which might be kind of appropriate. Let's see, let's see. Alright, let's go here. For anyone who does not know, Seeker of Evermore is a Super Nintendo RPG, action RPG, and Meta Sigma is really loud. He is kind of like Ryu, just a bit louder. Maybe not in the hype direction, but loud. He's also pretty awesome, so please visit Mr. Meta Sigma. And... well, have a nice evening everybody, until next time. And greetings, Jinx, and good night. 345 watching grind. I feel like most of them were probably more like listening. So there's that. But yeah, I wish you all a nice evening. Tomorrow is most likely going to be a Diablo 2 race, Barbarian I hope, and that should be a lot of fun. Take care everybody and have a good night.